There could be a new golf team coming to LIV Golf, and if it's true, it could be a game changer. So in my job, I spend a lot of time traveling, whether that's driving in a car or being on a plane. So I spend a lot of that time listening to podcasts, and a lot of those podcasts that I tend to listen to but tend to be very golf centric. And No Laying Up would be definitely one of those that I listen to probably the most, if I'm being absolutely honest. It's definitely one of the three that I'll always listen to when a new episode is launched. And in a recent episode, they mentioned something that seems to have gone completely unnoticed and not been reported on whatsoever. But they said that they've had from a very credible source that Callaway Golf are looking to invest and have their own golf team on LIV Golf. It was part of the conversation when they were talking about whether Tom McKibben is going to be going to LIV Golf for the start of this season. So I'm going to actually just play that clip now so you can listen to it for yourself.
It's easier to say after you got $18 million from him, like Shakara did. Like McKibben hasn't gotten his bag yet. So,
so that's the big, I don't know, rumor, or I mean, it seems pretty well founded. I've heard it from a lot of people that McKibben's not getting any money from LIV. That Callaway is basically going to have their own team over there, and all the money is coming directly from Callaway, part of his Callaway deal. So, and this is a 14th team as well.
Interesting. All the money, and the money is also still 50 now, 58 player fields, if that's the case, whatever it is, and $20 million being put up. You finish middle of the pack, you're going to make close to double-digit millions of dollars in the course of a LIV season as well.
Man, that the Callaway thing's that's interesting. We'll see what happens.
Who else is on this
in
team?
The hot stove. You put that together with the Xander, medical issue. If you're putting your tinfoil,
could have a Laurie Cantor hat on.
So there you go. Now, No Laying Up is a very, very well-sourced podcast. They would not say something unless they were getting from some kind of credible source that this is definitely something that is being considered. Now, these sort of things have been rumoured before. There's been a long-time rumour that Nike are interested in taking over Brooks Koepka's Smash team because of his long-term association with Nike Golf. That's never materialised, but continues to sort of be there in the background. And now there's this sort of, it's come from a credible source. No Laying Up is not like, some spurious media outlet that is just putting, rumours and gossip out there. They are a very credible podcast. They have got very credible sources, and I don't think they would say this unless there was some substance to it. My take on this is that when the game of golf comes together, and trust me, at some point, the PGA Tour and LIV Golf are going to come together under the same umbrella, and the PGA Tour is going to find its place in the golfing calendar, and the LIV Golf Tour is going to find its place in the golfing calendar. My personal belief is that the PGA Tour will run from February all the way through to the Open Championship, and then, from August and then through the fall or the autumn, as it said here in the UK, the LIV Golf Tour will run through that part at the end of from the mid to the end of the year. That's just my opinion. That's just how I see how they could all fit into the ecosystem. Now, when that happens, that for me will give the green light for some brands to get involved in these LIV Golf teams, because then it's not this tour that's separate in the world of golf, that although it's been around for quite a long time now, they probably still see it as a little bit of a gamble. Once it becomes part of PGA Tour Enterprises, which is what will happen, the PIF will invest in PGA Tour Enterprises, and that investment will then be used across the PGA Tour and across LIV Golf, all is the same thing. Then that risk becomes significantly less. And at that point, I think you could see some major brands looking to buy and take over these LIV Golf teams. So why would Callaway as a brand be interested in a LIV Golf team? Well, like I say, let's just say that this happens when the world of golf has come back together. There's the way that golf manufacturers are starting to market themselves has changed significantly in the last 5 years. And I'm not saying that that's due to the emergence of LIV Golf, although it's probably played a little part, but it's also been due to the massive growth in YouTube golf. So you've tended to see some of the major manufacturers, instead of sponsoring or getting a, a stable of pro golfers attached to their brand, as many as possible, they now keep their major players. So let's take TaylorMade, for example. They've kept Tiger, they've kept Rory, they've kept Tommy Fleetwood, they've added Scotty Scheffler, but then that was kind of it. They used to have a lot more than that, of like leading players in the world, if you like. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they announced a deal with Grant Horvat and Mika Morris, who were then part of the good that they just left. Two of the biggest influences on YouTube. So that showed you that they were starting to change their strategy as to what the best way was to be able to market their brand. Now, what a LIV Golf team allows you to do, because they don't have any restraints on the media rights of their players. Now, this is a very interesting point. When we come back together, will the PGA Tour, as part of this agreement, will they relax the owning of the players' media rights? I don't think they will. And if that's the case, then that still means that none of the PGA Tour players can go and do their own ventures, like their own YouTube channel, for example. Whereas on the LIV Golf side, where it is actively encouraged, and Bryson DeChambeau has shown just how effective this can be, they can go and do as much marketing for their sponsors as they want to do. And that would mean that someone like Callaway, who had a LIV Golf team, that LIV Golf team could become their vehicle within social media and YouTube to just basically put the wheels on their wagon and market their brand with their players as part of a team. Whether this is going to happen is definitely open to debate. There's no smoke without fire, so the fact that No Laying Up have heard something suggests to me that it's definitely something that's under consideration. It can't happen for this season, unless I'm completely mistaken on this, and this is a lot further down the line than I realise. The LIV Golf Tour starts in literally 3 weeks' time. There is no way that they can produce a new team with Callaway golfers all signed up within that time period. I don't think, obviously the biggest player on Callaway's books, the two players that are on their books that are massive are obviously Xander Schauffele and Jon Rahm, and obviously Xander's on the PGA Tour. So from the LIV Golf side, Jon Rahm's got his own team with Legion 13. Do Callaway buy into Legion 13, and then that becomes their Callaway golf team? Maybe that's a way to do it. But then that becomes a problem, because Tyrrell Hatton is a ping player and has always been a ping player. There's no way that Tyrrell Hatton's going to change his equipment to Callaway to be able to stay on Jon Rahm's golf team. So I don't see that happening. The only way I see this Callaway golf team coming together is that they actually form a new team, and I just don't see how that can happen within 3 weeks. So that means then that the earliest it can happen is for the 2026 season. It's an interesting one. It's going to be interesting to see how it all works out. Please let me know, get in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.